prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
I feel like a fish with no water.
Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and in my mind was me, a fire pit that accidentally started a wildfire. One of my embers landed on dry brush.
Start to change, not wildfire. Visit SpencerBill.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Yes, advocate, volunteer, living on, building on, brought to you by 911 and Ad Council.
From the Blue Rush ESPN studios, or BlueRush.com/ESPN. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 with VR 106.1 ESPN.
I'm Christine Lisi, breaking NBA news from ESPN's Sham Charania. Spurs star De'Aaron Fox agreed to a 4-year, $229 million max extension. No player option in the final year keeps him in San Antonio through the 2029-2030 season. In an interview published today, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says when it comes to Micah Parsons, there's nothing really new for him. He told USA Today the team's star pass rusher he won't consider trading him, isn't concerned with fan perspective for the negotiation process, and is not in a hurry to get something done. Jones mentioned how he's gotten deals done previously. This time, though, he might want to change his approach, suggests ESPN NFL reporter Dan Graziano.
You're dealing with a completely different generation of player. You're dealing with a 26-year-old who is a all-letter, maybe the best defensive player in the whole league. I guess this is fairly unprecedented for Jerry Jones.
Expansion off the table for the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments this upcoming season. The fields will remain at 68 teams. Talks will continue whether to expand to 72 or 76 in the future.
Hey, it's Michelle Swellman, and coming up Tuesday, we've talked a lot about the expectations for Caleb Williams this season, but I'll tell you whether they're actually way too high. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Check this out, y'all. Audio level, full volume. It's your time.
This is Border to Border with Matt Josephs.
He's the performance. Respect women. I love women. I respect them so much that I completely stay away from them.
Not remembering us is overwhelming.
Sports. Audio level, full volume. It's your time.
Here's Matt Josephs on Richmond's 106.1 ESPN.
Good afternoon, everybody. Board report. 106.1 ESPN. Matt Josephs here on a Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend. I was out at the beach for a day. Wasn't necessarily the best day to be at the beach, but it was still relaxing. Feeling good as we get closer to the pro and college football seasons. We've got NFL football coming up this week. In terms of the preseason, we've got that coming up. We also have, we're 30 days away from the Eagles and Cowboys. That's a lot of fun. We are less than that away from week 0 of the college football season. And so we really made it. We made it through the slow times. We made it through Max Book Club, which we can still do. If good books start coming out, we'll certainly continue to do that. But we have now made it to the stretch drive before we basically forget significant others, family, friends, and just watch football for weekends on end. So got a lot to get into. You know what we do on Mondays. No guests. But at 4:15, I'm telling you now, and I'm going to say this now because I've confirmed it, and I have the phone number, and I'm hoping they're going to answer. Bob and I during the mashup hour at 4:15 are going to have Shane Beamer on. So we're going to talk some South Carolina football at 4:15, and they've got an interesting game coming up against Virginia Tech. So if you have any questions you want us to ask Shane Beamer, we've got about 10, 12 minutes with him starting at 4:15. So tell your friends. And tell your enemies if you want. We appreciate all the listeners. 4:15 today, we have Shane Beamer on the Mashup Hour. 327-0888, phone number, text line 804 is the area code. Got a lot to get into. Certainly, I want to talk about the top 25 poll came out from the coaches poll preseason. Coaches poll also coming out today is the top 25 for the preseason for the FCS. So that is also out. We'll tell you who's ranked where for the preseason FCS Stats Perform Top 25. And we'll get into some NFL notes, some college football notes. Also, the odds makers have ruled and have said, based on Quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, and backup quarterbacks. Who has the most difference in the NFL? So I want you to think about that. Which team, point spread wise, has the largest difference in the NFL between the starting quarterback and backup quarterback? But I kind of want to start with there's a lot of things we need to. I want to start out with the part that I feel like we need to overemphasize. Like they said, it was kind of like a throwaway line in the update at the top of the hour. There will be no expansion of March Madness in 2026. Not in the men's side, not in the women's side. Now, look, that doesn't mean that they're not going to consider it for 2027, 2028, whatever. But this coming NCAA tournament, we will stay at 68 teams, which is fantastic. Because let's be honest, the more teams we add, the more terrible Power 4, Power 5 schools we add. And then the tournament's just going to start turning into what we had last year. It was all one seeds. I don't mind
this on the show. I don't mind one seeds once in a while. I don't mind the 1-1-1-1 Final Four. If the 4 best teams in the country are the 1 seeds, that's fine. It's fine with me. While I'm rooting for the mid-majors and the Cinderellas, I'm also rooting for the best possible Final Four we can get. And by having 1-1-1-1-1, you have the best possible Final Four. But it's really good. Now, Dan Gavitt did say the committees will continue conversations on whether to recommend expanding to 72 or 76 teams in advance of the 2027 championships. That is... Look, there's nothing we can do. I think we all have to kind of be honest with ourselves. We know that there's going to be or the NCAA tournament expansion. Like it's going to happen. It's just how are they going to do it? How's the bracket going to look? And when are they going to expand to a number that's already too much? Like there's going to be expansion for a couple more times probably. We're going to get to some unwieldy number, like 108 or something. I don't know. We're going to get to something that's just a horrendous number. And then the NCAA is going to have to sit there and say, well, maybe we need to reduce the amount of teams who get into our most prestigious event. But for now, thank goodness, we stay at 68. They also said they've had good conversations with CBS and Warner Brothers. That deal runs through 2032, $1.1 billion per year. So, hey, look, I'd like it to stay on CBS. I'd like it to stay, on that channel, but whatever. If they want to bring their music with them, go for it. I don't really care what channel it is. I mean, look, let's be honest. Nobody really wants to go to True TV or, some of these other channels. But like, if that's how you do it, that's how you got to do it. So that was kind of a throwaway in the top of the hour update. But for me, it meant so much more. There will be no expansion whatsoever in the NCAA tournament this year. But they're still considering it for the next year. Also today, Micah Parsons. I absolutely love this Micah Parsons story. Like I knew that there was issues, but the more I started reading about it, I love the aspect of it that supposedly Jerry Jones had a deal with Micah Parsons. Like they were set on a contract. And then all of a sudden, Micah says, go to my agent, and Jerry won't negotiate with the agent because he's old, stuck in his ways. I don't know. He figured that, he had a handshake agreement, whatever, with Micah Parsons. Like he thought it was done. And apparently it wasn't. And so this is awesome. Like, I know Cowboys fans, I'm sorry. I don't like you. The Commanders fans don't like you. Giants fans, large groups of Cowboys fans don't like what's going on right now. But this Micah Parsons thing is hilarious because Jerry Jones is stuck in the 1940s where probably there was no agents. And you probably talked to players and you probably paid them like $10 and you probably, there was all these things and everything. And he thought because he may or may not have had a deal with Micah Parsons and Micah Parsons says, go finish everything with my agent. This whole thing's blown up. This whole thing is blown up. And then Micah comes out with a 3-page statement. I think it was on Friday. Comes out with a 3-page statement that basically says, yeah, I'm not going to play for the Cowboys anymore. I don't want to be a Cowboy anymore. And so this just in, he's not getting traded. Like, let's be completely honest. We could sit here and I'll throw a package out there for the Commanders. I'll throw that out there. But like, Micah Parsons isn't going anywhere. Jerry Jones didn't make billions of dollars or however many amounts of money that he made by basically caving in to demands. As much as we don't like him for that, and as much as this is hurting his football team, he has not gotten to where he is by basically saying, "Oh, all right, we'll trade you," or "Oh, all right, we'll concede to you." Like Jerry Jones doesn't concede, and so this thing's going to continue. And the difference between this and Terry McLaurin is Jerry thought he had a deal in place, and then it blew up, and now neither side trusts each other. And Micah Parsons put his 3-page manifesto out there and said that basically, like, I'm not coming back and I'm not going to play for the Cowboys. Jerry Jones' side is, well, I am, you have to do what's right for the team. And then, of course, I did think it was funny. What did he say? He essentially said something to the effect of, he's got a back injury. That's like he was traded. And I'm like, no, not really. Because he doesn't really have a back injury. Much like, I don't think Terry McLaurin has an ankle injury. These guys are just saying they're injured so they can go to training camp and not get fined anymore. Micah Parsons is 100% healthy. If they all of a sudden sign the contract, guess what? The back injury's gone. So we are now going to enter a long month or so where neither side budges, and Micah Parsons probably doesn't suit up week 1. The Eagles beat the Cowboys 37-10. And then Dallas, then we're already off and running with the Dallas season. Like, this is not going to go anywhere. All the little shots that Jerry Jones took, all the little shots that Stephen Jones took. What did Jerry Jones also say? Something to the effect of, oh, we didn't have him for 6 games last year. Does he think that taking shots at his best player? I mean, you could argue Micah Parsons is their best player. Does he think taking shots at his star player is helping his case? Like, I get it. We all make snide remarks. And sometimes in arguments, when we're trying to get things done, we make snide remarks. But we afterwards realize it probably wasn't the best idea. He probably shouldn't have said that. It felt good at the time, but it didn't really do anything. Well, that's kind of what Jerry did by saying, oh, yeah, we'd like him back. And, my relationship's good. He was like, oh, we sat next to each other at the conference championship game and the Super Bowl. Well, if we thought that sitting next to people counted, boy, I have sat next to some very attractive women, and that didn't do anything. Now, it would have helped if I said something, but you know what I mean. Sitting next to somebody doesn't mean you're best friends. You're getting married. You're going to negotiate a contract, whatever. So this thing's not going anywhere. And every day that this thing stretches out, there's somebody else who could get a contract. I don't know who else is in that area. Who else is in that position? I mean, I guess if Cincinnati wants to sign Trey Hendrickson, I don't think that's going to happen either. But if Cincinnati wants to sign Trey Hendrickson and ruin that market even more, I guess that could happen. But every day that he is unsigned and other people decide, well, maybe I'm going to sign my edge rusher. I'm trying to see. I'm looking up on Spot Track who else has a contract that's coming up soon. Most of the top paid guys are taken care of. Leonard Williams in Seattle is a free agent next year. I don't know if he's an extension contract. Bryce Huff, yeah, that's not happening. Eric Armstead, Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, listen. Aiden Hutchinson is one. Now, the Aiden Hutchinson's a little different. He's coming off a massive, ACL surgery. So they're not going to sign him to a long-term deal until they make sure he's okay. But if Aiden Hutchinson signs before Parsons does, that just add a couple more zeros to Micah's contract. Other than that, I don't see a ton of guys. Trey Hendrickson, Arden Key, but he's more of a linebacker than a defensive end. It depends on what they think Micah Parsons is, whether he's an edge rusher or a defensive end or whatever. I love it. I'm sorry, Dallas fans, but I love it. And I think if we polled Dallas fans, there'd still be people who think that Jerry Jones is always right, so they're mad at Micah Parsons. But I would say the majority of Dallas fans would be mad at the old guy who shouldn't really be their general manager anymore. Now, over the weekend also, I guess it was Friday, Terry McLaurin announced he wanted to trade. Here's my thought here. It's almost the same thing as Micah Parsons to some extent. Terry McLaurin's not going anywhere. Terry McLaurin's not getting traded. Let's be honest. The Commanders are closer to getting a deal done with Terry McLaurin than the Cowboys are with Micah Parsons. Terry McLaurin, I do think it's interesting that everybody's like, well, the Commanders have all the leverage here because they have one more year in Terry McLaurin's contract. Here's my thing. And despite all the reports of, Jaden Daniels, great pass to Deebo Samuel. Oh, great pass to so-and-so. Like, let's be completely honest. The Commanders' offense without Terry McLaurin is mediocre to decent, maybe good. It's not great. With Terry McLaurin, it can be a great offense. We saw it last year. They scored more points than the Eagles. They scored more points than a lot of people. But that was with Terry McLaurin. If you take Terry McLaurin away, the gimmicks with Deebo Samuel don't work as well. And I love Jalen Lane, and hopefully we can get Jalen Lane on. But like his thing is, everybody moves up to an uncomfortable spot. Zach Ertz becomes more of a target, more of a guy that you throw to. The run game takes more importance. Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, everything else just gets ramped up a little bit. And that means you can double Deebo if you want to. I don't know why you would. You could double Zach Ertz. You could double Noah Brown. With Terry McLaurin, you can't do that. And so, yes, financially, the leverage is with Washington, but I would argue that Terry McLaurin has just as much in terms of leverage because of what he means to this offense and what this offense is without him. I can't. I think people are kind of missing that. You read the headlines, you see that, Jaden Daniels had a good practice. Oh, Jaden Daniels threw an offensive lineman out of the huddle for false starting. It's all well and good. But when other people are going up against you and they know that there's not a real number one wide receiver because Deebo is number two, that's going to be very tough to figure out. So I argue there's some leverage on Terry McLaurin's side too. I argue Terry has some leverage because he's awesome. He's a top 5 wide receiver in this league, top 7. But I don't think he's getting traded. I still think, so my worryometer is at a 6 or a 7. I still don't think this thing's done. I still don't think that they're not going to get this thing done. I still think logic is going to happen. And maybe in that bye week before the start of the season, Terry joins in. Don't think anything's going to happen in the next week. I don't think anybody's going to really care because I'm guessing the starters aren't going to play very much, if at all, in the first preseason game. So it's not like we could sit there and say, well, that drive was terrible. Boy, their offense is lacking weapons. It's almost like they should have one. None of that. But I don't think anybody's going to play on, was it Thursday? Friday? Okay. They're playing this week. So I don't think anything's going to happen in terms of, we messed up. We need Terry, because there's just not going to be any sort of playing. All right. Last thing for this segment. I do want to caution people, especially if you are a fan of a team, no matter what you see, you're going to see a lot of people mention depth charts in the preseason. I've learned, and the media members have told me this, these depth charts during the preseason are put out almost by the media relations people. The head coach may chip in, say one thing, two things, whatever. But I'm staring at the Colts unofficial depth chart, and the fact that Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson are your leaders, that doesn't mean anything when it comes to the season. So if you see your team put out a depth chart, chances are it means absolutely nothing. We'll mention it when the Commanders put their depth chart out this week for the first preseason game. We'll mention it, but it means essentially nothing. It means absolutely nothing during for this preseason. So don't draw any sort of conclusions. I mean, you can, I guess, draw a conclusion that Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson aren't very good and they can't decide what to do. But let's not sit here and say, well, this guy's first. Oh man, that is huge. Tyler Warren is number 1. And I'm guessing by the end of camp, Tyler Warren will be tight end 1. And we hope that Mo Alley Cox is tight end 2. But that actually is legit. Most of the other stuff, not legit at all. All right, let's take a timeout. Coming up, I do want to get into this. A little college football. 2 polls came out today, the preseason coaches poll and the preseason FCS top 25 poll. So I certainly want to get into that. Also want to get into, I can't do this again. Heather Dinich is now the latest that is trying to get me back on to the Virginia Tech bandwagon. I'll tell you why. And then we'll also talk about the odds makers in Vegas. They have set the point spread difference between every NFL team's backup quarterback and starting quarterback. We'll tell you who has the largest difference. We'll tell you who has the smallest difference. We'll talk a little NFL and college football here on a Monday. You're listening to 106.1 ESPN.
Tune into the ESPN Richmond Herman Allen Sports Play of the Day, presented exclusively by Herman Allen Plumbing and Cooling, your premier Lennox dealer.
If you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, the Prostate Cancer Educational Institute of Virginia wants to help. These guys hope you'll join them in their monthly meetings where men openly discuss their concerns with others who have already been through it. The next meeting will be a virtual meeting on August 6th at 6:30 p.m. To be added to the guest list, contact Bert Jones at bertjones70@yahoo.com. That's bertjones70@yahoo.com. For more info, call 922-7193 or prostate.club.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special, $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st, Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m., stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd, Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking 2 p.m.
106.1 ESPN in your pocket. Download the app for on-demand shows, live updates, podcasts, and sports takes hotter than a game-winning drive. Your team, your way. Get it now.
Welcome back. 106.1 ESPN. Matt Joseph's here, taking you up until 4. Don't forget, Shane Beamer, knock on wood, will hopefully join the show at 4:15. So Bob and I will get a chance to talk to the week 1 opponent of the Virginia Tech Hokies. And I teased it last segment, last couple minutes ago. So Heather Dinich did an article, and we love Heather Dinich, and it's probably about time to get her on to do some preseason playoff talk. She did an article that said she listed 32 teams who can make the college football playoff. And if I said to you blankly, there would be one team from the state of Virginia on this list, you probably would have thought Liberty or JMU by virtue of the G5 playoff berth. Liberty probably slightly better chance than JMU only because Liberty's playing a high school schedule and JMU has a road game against an ACC school. So I would have said, yeah, it was probably Liberty. Maybe JMU, but probably Liberty. No, it's Virginia Tech. She has the Virginia Tech Hokies as one of the 32 teams who can make the college football playoff. ESPN's analytics, the nerds, the dorks, have them at a 12.5% chance to make the playoff and a 0.2% chance to win the national title. Let me tell you something. You know, we make bets on this show occasionally that are very long shots, and we're essentially burning money and stuff like that. I wouldn't even burn 50 cents on Virginia Tech to win the national title. And if your analytics says they have a chance for a national title, you should probably recalibrate your numbers. And that's not to say this season couldn't be good. I've already laid it on the line. And as we get closer, like right after camp, that game week, we will put out our number for wins for Virginia Tech and for Virginia and JMU and ODU and all of them. They're not winning the national title. They're not making the college football playoff. So there's 4 categories to what she writes for every team. Agree or disagree with ESPN analytics. She says agree. Until proven otherwise, everyone in the ACC is looking up at Clemson, Miami, and SMU. Virginia Tech has a chance to surprise some people. I don't even have to read the rest of the sentence. Toughest test, South Carolina. What the committee will like, a 2-0 record against the SEC. That means they would beat South Carolina and Vanderbilt. What the committee won't like, a 3-loss ACC team without a title. If Virginia Tech loses to South Carolina at Georgia Tech and against Miami, its playoff hopes are over without an ACC title. But if they can't manage a winning record against the ranked opponents, it's going to be a hard sell in the room without winning the league. Like, I can't get back on the bandwagon. Like, I can't. I'm obviously, look, we don't technically root on this show, but it is a better area and it is better programming when Tech's good, when UVA's good, when everybody's good in the state. And we can actually make that rivalry game, which is relatively irrelevant now, something that matters. She has SMU, Virginia Tech. I'm scrolling up as fast as I can. It makes for bad radio if I do silence. SMU, Virginia Tech, Miami, and Clemson as the 4 ACC teams with a chance to make the college football playoff. I just, I can't say it. I can't. And nor will I entertain this foolishness. And look, I now probably Hokie fans are mad at me, but like last year, if last year's team couldn't make the playoffs, I don't see how this year's team, which is worse than last year, is going to make the playoff. I just don't. Now, look, maybe they beat South Carolina week 1. Maybe they beat Vanderbilt week 2. But how many of you out there don't think or aren't thinking right now, if they start 2-0, that they don't trip up and lose a game they shouldn't lose? I mean, I don't think they're going to lose to ODU at home. It's not down in Norfolk, so I don't think they're going to lose that game. But, like, when have you seen a Virginia Tech team take care of business for every game that they're supposed to take care of business of? Like, there's years where they win the game they're not supposed to, and then they lose a game they're not supposed to. You know, maybe, well, Cal's a Friday night game. I would like to think they're not going to lose that game. Whatever it is, a game they're favored in that they would lose. But I just, I get it. You're going into the numbers and everything, but I just, 0.2% is even too much for Virginia Tech to win the national championship. And like 12% is too much to make the playoffs. I just, last year was your chance. Last year was your chance. And you'll get another chance in a couple of years, maybe. If the recruiting gets a little better, you find the right transfer portal guys, you get those endowments or unnamed donations like the one Virginia got, where now they all of a sudden have money. Maybe. Till then, I can't see it. Virginia Tech football screams 6-6, 7-5, 8-4. That's the right now. It is a mediocre program. That's about it. And some people are happy with that. Some people like 8-4, bowl game every year. You know, a chance to go on vacation to some city and watch your football team. Maybe you're okay with that. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be in the least. So the preseason coaches poll came out, and let's give the reminder here as well. I don't think any of the coaches who vote in this poll know anything about all these schools. Once again, I think this is the head coach hands this to the PR guy and says, fill this out for me. So there are 5 schools who actually got first place votes. Texas is number 1. They got 28. Ohio State's number 2. They got 20. Penn State is 3. They got 14. Georgia got 3. They are 4. Clemson got 2 first place votes. They are 6. Notre Dame is 5. They didn't get any first place votes. That's your top 6. So 5 different schools got first place votes. Miami is 10. South Carolina, they're 13. SMU is 16. Indiana, a.k.a. JMU West. Yeah, JMU West. They're 19. And that's it. Boise State's 25. I like that. Mid-major me is happy about that. Others receiving votes. Louisville got 126 votes. They were 28th. Syracuse got 16 votes. Georgia Tech got 27 votes. Duke got 12 votes. Florida State got 8. And the team that we talked about last Thursday that I love in the MAC, Buffalo, got 1. We love the Bulls. UB. Go UB. So that's your coaches poll. And the caveat is these are all the PR people. And I get it for TV purposes. You like to have ratings. I wouldn't do any sort of rankings in the top 25 till week 4. Like we're basing our stuff off of preseason projections. We've seen none of these people on the field. Like if we had TV scrimmages and stuff like that, you know, if they allowed Syracuse to go fly to Colorado and play Colorado, if they had preseason exhibition games between 2 programs that we could watch, then okay, I get it. But like right now, we're just basically throwing darts at a wall and saying, well, these are who we think is going to be really good this year. The other poll that came out today was let me get this right. I don't want to shortchange it. The Stats Perform FCS Top 25 poll. So it's the FCS poll. North Dakota State's number 1. They got 54 of 56 first place votes. Montana State is number 2. They got 1 first place vote. South Dakota State is 3. South Dakota is 4. They got the last first place vote. Notice the trend there? That's why in 2030, when College Armageddon comes, I am predicting the Dakotas and the Montanas will become FBS. That's why I'm predicting that. They might as well be FBS now. They can't compete with the current FBS because there's no way in heck they can compete with the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the ACC and the SEC. But if all of a sudden the SEC and the Big Ten take their ball and go home and start their own thing, then we're realigning everything. And I think those 4 schools all move up. And as you noticed, they're the best teams in the country. So yeah, I was about to say Rhode Island is 9. I guess we still check on the CAA because of William and Mary. Rhode Island is 9. How about that? Rhode Island, 9. Villanova's 13 in their last year in the CAA. And then Stony Brook is 24th. Richmond is 25th. Richmond is 25th. Lehigh, their opening opponent, is 14th. It's still weird to have to go search out the Patriot League for all this stuff, but we'll certainly figure it out by the time the season starts. The others receiving votes category, New Hampshire's the only CAA school. They got 22. I'm just shocked to not see William and Mary everywhere. Like, I'm just shocked. It's weird to me because I just expect William and Mary to be in the top 25 and to be in this sort of situation. They're not right now. And maybe that's a good thing for Mike London, is that everybody's hype is kind of quiet around him and they're just another team. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that'll work out well. I'm not sure. I'm going to guess that Mike London's a bulletin board guy. There are certain coaches that I feel like don't do that sort of thing. I can't decide about Dan Campbell. Part of me thinks that Dan Campbell is the type of guy who would put up bulletin board material in his locker room. But part of me thinks that he's the type of guy who would take a newspaper that has disrespect for the Lions and eat it in front of his team, to be like, we don't care what anybody else says. We're just going to go out there and win. And he would eat it like just as like symbolism. I don't know. There's just certain coaches that I feel like are bulletin board material guys. Bill Belichick definitely isn't. Definitely is not. I think he's the type of guy who says, I don't care what anybody else says. We're just going to go out there and win. Brent Pry. Well, we talked to Brent Pry, last year at ACC Media Day? He said that he basically showed a video of all and posted all the positive clips from the offseason and basically said, like, lit him on fire or something, or did something. I forget what he said he did. And he basically said, like, it's a new season. We don't really care what anybody else is saying about us. We need to focus on what we need to do. I don't know about Tony Elliott. I think Tony Elliott's got a sneaky good, fiery speech in the locker room. Like, he's very soft-spoken and mild-mannered, or at least around the media. I feel like he is a great pregame speech guy. I think he fires his guys up. Now, how long that lasts, who knows? And what his halftime speech like, I don't know. But I think he's the type of guy who will start really soft and then really rev it up as the speech goes on. But yeah, that is the preseason FCS top 25 poll. 327-0888 phone number, text line 804 is the area code for the show if you want to comment. Let's take a timeout. Coming up, we'll talk a little NFL. Odds makers have come out and said who has the largest difference between the starting and backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Some of them you probably can figure out. Some of them, I don't know. We'll see. We'll tell you next who they are. You're listening to 106.1 ESPN.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Seems like back to school happens earlier each year.
First day of school coming in hot.
And this year, my kids had massive supply lists.
Folders, notebooks, and pens. Oh, the humanity.
But Staples had everything I needed, with some items just 25 cents.
Watch the small print.
No. My back-to-school budget was saved by Staples Easy Button.
Everything for school. In stock and as low as 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 23 while supplies last.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, stack, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by Tax Relief Advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147 or simply visit TRA.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. Your trash is treasure at CNC Cullet Recycling. From copper wire to radiator ends, cans to lead batteries, CNC Cullet Recycling will pay cash or check for your unwanted scrap metal. No load is too large or too small. Don't dump it. Recycle it and get paid at CNC Cullet Recycling, just south of Maple Street on Route 1 in Ashland. Free local container services available too. CNC Cullet Recycling, open every weekday and a half day on Saturday. Check the latest cash scrap prices online right now at cccullet.com. That's CCCULLET.
Allianz Amphitheater at Riverfront at ESPN. Welcome. John Thomas with a great big world. Friday, August 8th. Tickets on sale now. Simple plan with Bowling Pursuit. 303 at Lolo. Tuesday, August 26th. Tickets are on sale now. Gavin Adcock with Braxton Keat and Laney Gardner. Thursday, August 28th. Tickets are on sale now. Allison Krause and Union Station featuring Jerry Douglas. Friday, August 29th. Tickets on sale now. Tickets are available at livenation.com. Part of the Virginia Credit Union Concert Series. Click on ESPNRichmond.com for more Live Nation concert information. Join Mark Petrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking early bird special, $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st. Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd. Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m.
Game on, Richmond. Crank up 106.1 ESPN for live play-by-play, blistering hot takes, and nonstop action. Your ticket to the hype. Stay dialed in.
Welcome back. 106.1 ESPN. Matt Joseph's here. Take you up until 4. Mashup hour 4 till 5. Shane Beamer will join the show at 4:15, so stick around for that. And then Bob will take you home from 5 until 6 with the Sports Huddle. It should be a normal week this week, so we'll certainly keep you posted on that. All right, so we do this every year. Vegas basically, and look, we've talked about it. The Vegas odds makers know way more than the rest of us. Way more. I feel like if the country was run by Vegas odds makers and the people who run Chick-fil-A, everything would be really smooth. Like, you ever see the lines at Chick-fil-A? They just move. They're long, but they move. And if you ever sit there and watch a game and wonder, how did that game land on a point spread? Like, they know a lot. Now, I'm not being serious, so please don't be like all angry. And it's not a political statement, but I'm just saying 2 of the most efficient and smartest groups of people on our planet are the ones who run Chick-fil-A and the people who are Vegas odds makers. They just seem to know. Whenever there's a line that looks fishy to you and then it ends up hitting, you're like, man, that guy knew something and I didn't. So they did a ranking here of all the starting quarterbacks in the NFL and the point spread difference between them and the backup. So basically, if, so-and-so got hurt, if Jaden Daniels got hurt, what's the point spread difference for the next game if Marcus Mariota comes in? So I bring Jordan in here to guess here because we love playing guessing games of a sort. And it's actually really tight at the top. It is really tight at the top. The number 1 duo has a 6.98 point difference against the spread. The number 2 is 6.94. So they're really tight. Jordan, do you want to guess who's number 1? What starting quarterback has the largest difference from their backup?
Probably Patrick Mahomes.
He, for the first time in his career, is not. He is number 2.
Okay.
Probably because people have slightly more confidence in Gardner Minshew than the number 1 backup.
Okay.
Who do you think number 1 is?
I don't. I'm just gonna guess. Is it Jared Goff?
Jared Goff is number 8. He is a 5.06 point difference with Hendon Hooker, who is the backup quarterback for the Detroit Lions. So you got 2 of the top 10. I'll give you one more guess. Who? Think
Okay. Give me a slight hint.
AFC.
Okay. Josh Allen.
That is correct.
Yes.
For the first time, and since both Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes have been playing, Josh Allen is the number 1 quarterback. Now that's just saying, I mean, his backup's Mitchell Trubisky. So a zero faith in Mitchell Trubisky. But as I said, it's almost a 7-point difference. 6.98 for Josh Allen, 6.94 for Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson and Cooper Rush is number 3 at 6.65. For all the Jalen Hurts haters, like the morning show host, Jalen Hurts is a 6.31 point difference than Tanner McKee, the Stanford quarterback, in his 3rd year. Number 5 is Joe Burrow, only 5.6 points with Jake Browning. That's interesting because Jake Browning, I don't believe, has very much experience in the NFL, and to only be 5.6, like that's almost a 2-point difference between them and Josh Allen. That's interesting. Like I think that should be higher. This one should probably be lower. Justin Herbert is a 5.15 point difference than Taylor Heineke. Like Taylor Heineke was the starting quarterback in this league. I think now I'm an anti Justin Herbert guy, but that's a lot. Number 7 is Dak Prescott over Joe Milton is a 5.1 point difference. Then Jared Goff and Hendon Hooker at 5.06. Number 9 is Jaden Daniels, 4.98 points different than Marcus Mariota. And then number 10 is CJ Stroud, 4.9 points over than Davis Mills, which is interesting again because Davis Mills was a starting quarterback. Now, granted, wasn't very good. The bottom of the list are the teams you pretty much kind of expect. Tyler Shuck has a 0.69 point difference over Spencer Rattler. Now, how about that? A rookie who has not played a single down in this league and is what? He's 24, 25, whatever he is more of is a difference from Spencer Rattler, who has actually started games in the NFL. Now, granted, look, it's 0.69, but that's still interesting that a rookie means a little bit more for the Saints than Spencer Rattler does. 31 is Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. Anthony Richardson listed as the starter, 0.85 points difference. I would think it would be the other way around. Daniel Jones would be the starter, and there'd be the little difference between him and Anthony Richardson. Number 30, this is interesting. Michael Penix Jr. to Kirk Cousins. Now, I'm guessing that's because everybody thinks that Kirk Cousins is a lot better than Michael Penix Jr. An odds maker was quoted as saying, "This is the right move by the Falcons. Cousins can't run the ball. He's just a pure passer. I put 2.5 for Penix. I think he could get up to 3. Cousins is a heck of a backup." 10 of the 12 odds makers put the spread difference between 0 and 1.5 points per game for those two. Russell Wilson and Jameis. Russell Wilson is only a 1.44 point difference than Jameis. That's sad. Joe Flacco, 1.48 over Kenny Pickett. Justin Fields, a 1.96 points over Tyrod Taylor. Excuse me, my bad. Tyrod Taylor. Let's be honest, the Jets should be starting Tyrod, not Justin Fields. Bryce Young, 1.98 points over Andy Dalton. J.J. McCarthy, 2.02 points over Sam Howell. That's an interesting one. Sam Howell was a starting quarterback. J.J. McCarthy, if you go off of the video clips coming out of Minnesota camp, J.J. McCarthy may not last long in the league, which I got something on that in a second. But like that one's pretty interesting. Drake May, 3.08 points against Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs has had a decent time in the NFL. Remember when he was the it thing in Arizona, and then they started, purchasing his. He went to the jersey store, and they never made any jerseys for him, and then people started buying his jersey. Man, I like Josh Dobbs. But yeah, that's the list. You can find on Yahoo Sports the difference between all of the backups. Oh yeah, let me do the last one. Aaron Rodgers is only a 3.52 point difference over Mason Rudolph. I mean, let that sink in for a second. Mason Rudolph, who has been a starting quarterback, I feel like 2 or 3 different years, and Aaron Rodgers, who I would argue is one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation, my generation, and it's a 3.52 point difference. That's bad. That's bad. Oh, last one. Caleb Williams is only 4.1 points better than Tyson Bagent. I assume that's how you say it. Tyson Bagent. Crazy. But that's what the odds makers think. So if you ever want to try and figure out what a line will be with a backup quarterback in, look at this list. They just told you what the backups are and what the difference is. So that's what's going on there. Last thing for this. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, on X, on one of the other ones, on TV. And I saw Brant this morning on Good Morning Football. He came on, and I agree 100% with him. We have to stop with the going off of a video clip and base it on how someone's career is. The clip going around now is Caleb Williams was doing one of those throwing drills where you have to throw a football through a hole. And he missed on all 4 of them and threw a little temper tantrum and threw a little fit afterwards. And everybody's like, well, there you go. Not a leader. Or there's clips of that Dove Kleiman, who I can't stand, the guy who aggregates all sorts of NFL stuff. He put a clip up of J.J. McCarthy airmailing a throw and saying something like, terrible. We really have to stop with taking 1 or 2 reps during practice and basically saying, yep, that's it. That's it. That guy's going to be terrible, or that guy's going to be awesome, or whatever. We really have to stop doing that, because that may be the case. It may be the case, but you can't base it off of one video clip, because, we could do video clips of great throws to Justin Jefferson, or great throws to Jordan Addison, or a great throw to someone else. So that's the one part of training camp I don't like, when we sit here and go over every throw and every play. Some people are going to have good days. Some people are going to have bad days. Some people are going to have in the middle days where they have good throws and bad throws. And we just can't sit here and pronounce somebody based off of one throw in a long practice over a week. J.J. McCarthy may not be good. Who knows? He may be a bad quarterback. Minnesota Vikings may be a bad football team. I don't know. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, he's just not very good because on this one picture and this one video, he wasn't able to get it done. It shocks me sometimes to see people like this. But this is what it is. We are in a society now where we want everything. We want everything now. We want everything positive. One negative thing comes about, and all of a sudden, everything's terrible. It can't be. It can't be the case. We have to progress. We have to move up. We have to work our way up a ladder. Okay, you had a bad rep. I'm looking now at a good rep that somebody else had. I'm not going to say he's the greatest thing ever because he made one good throw. 327-0888, that is the phone number. That is the text line. 804 is the area code. We always appreciate you joining the show. However, you may want to do so, whether it's by the phone, whether it's by text. If you're unhappy with something I've said, or you just have a comment or a question from something that happened over the weekend, you can certainly join the show. All right, let's take a time out. We'll do our final segment. A bit of a disaster in Bristol this weekend. An event, shocker, that Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred ran that didn't go very well. Gee, I'm shocked that Rob Manfred botched something over the weekend. We'll talk about that in our last segment. We'll get you set for the week ahead. You're listening to 106.1 ESPN.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Seems like back to school happens earlier each year.
First day of school coming in hot.
And this year, my kids had massive supply lists.
Folders, notebooks, and pens. Oh, the humanity.
But Staples had everything I needed, with some items just 25 cents.
Watch the small print.
No. My back to school budget was saved by Staples Easy Button.
Everything for school. In stock and as low as 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 23 while supplies last.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
Hey, it's Crash Gladys from Speed Freaks. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use limited time promo code SUMMER and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. Listeners are making $200 to $300 a year just from buying the gas they already needed. Don't wait. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code SUMMER to redeem your 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SUMMER. Yeah, at first I thought it was too good to be true, but it's completely legit. Plus, you can cash out anytime. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now by using limited time promo code SUMMER. That's promo code SUMMER for a limited time 25 cents per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
From rush hour to Richmond Roar, Bob Black's voice is your sun-splashed co-pilot. Dive into all the stats, fiery takes, and the kind of energy that beats brake lights. Weekdays, 4 to 6 p.m., your drive's new favorite huddle.
Final segment on a Monday. 106.1 ESPN. Matt Joseph's here. Back after vacation, at least a weekend excursion, to say the least. And I was just reading something on Twitter, fantasy football thing, and we'll do some fantasy football soon. I'll get somebody on for fantasy football. I'm drafting. If I have the number one draft pick overall, I think I'm drafting Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is. He's already been awesome, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be even better. That's partially because I don't want to jinx Saquon Barkley. I think last year on my main team, I had A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, and it was like the toughest thing ever because when they'd lose and not play well, it would be doubly bad because it would hurt my fantasy team and my real team. So I don't know if I could do that again, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a huge season. I got to look at his props because I might have to bet on him to do all sorts of positive things. And then I'm also a CeeDee Lamb guy. I think people are going to look at George Pickens, and I think they're going to go that direction. I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb, if there's weeks where he doesn't get 100 yards receiving, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. And this is not – I just think Dallas's run game is so bad. Dak is going to throw it 50 times a game, even when they're winning. Even when they're winning. I know Brian Schottenheimer, I believe, is more of a run guy. I get it. But like Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams are not NFL running backs, really. So I want CeeDee Lamb on as many teams as I want, and I want to take the over on Dak Prescott attempts every week. Excuse me. Even on weeks when they're not, on weeks they're not going to win. Those are the weeks I prefer it. But that's just something I found on Twitter that I wanted to bring up. All right. So over the weekend, I saw all the pictures. It looked really cool. The Bristol Speedway stuff. And then I saw the rain delay. And I saw that it basically rained it out until Sunday, till yesterday. And as usual, baseball messes something up that could have been really good for the sport. And you see pictures of people unhappy, see pictures of hot dogs without buns, nachos without cheese. Like, it's just, how are you not prepared for everything? And how are you having people, I get you want to do the event, but you purposely left Sunday as an off day. So that way, if something did happen on Saturday, you can have the event on Sunday. It didn't matter. They tried to do it on Saturday. They got everybody in. It was raining. They couldn't have the game on. The Braves had to blow Spencer Strider because of that, because he got warmed up and the game didn't go long enough. And it's just like, every time I want to think that Rob Manfred can get lower, he goes even lower than that. He just doesn't understand how to run a sport. And every time I want to try and believe in him and maybe give him a shred of a doubt, I can't do it. Tomorrow we're going to talk some college football. Brent Cianza, I have to make sure how to pronounce his last name, Pick Six Previews on Twitter. He's going to join the show. We'll talk some college football with him. And as you heard, Shane Beamer will hopefully, knock on wood, join us about 20 minutes from now during the mashup hour. So we're looking forward to talking to the head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks. If you've ever missed an interview or if you ever missed a website, go to our website, ESPNRichmond.com, download the app 1061 ESPN. That is it for a Monday. Stick around through the break, 1061 ESPN.
Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has expert technicians plus industry-leading Lennox equipment. To learn more, visit HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
If you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, the Prostate Cancer Educational Institute of Virginia wants to help. These guys